My name is Sabrina Allen, and I'm here today to discuss the two major external factors that have affected the Microsoft Corporation over the last 4 years. This assignment has requirement as my PowerPoint and an outline presentation from Management 202 Business Course. The two major important factors that have affected the company of Microsoft has been the public demand and also the lawsuits that the company has faced over the last 4 years. The public demand for Microsoft is a very important factor because this deals not only with the upkeep and trying to compete with the growing market both globally and then also in the U.S., but also in competing with the software and the demand that the consumers have daily in terms of the constant need for better and new technology. Now, one of the ways that Microsoft has decided to compete with this market has been also to acquire other companies and businesses. One of the businesses that they purchased, which was in May of 2010, was the company Skype. Now, this company was purchased for $8.5 million. This was a cash purchase. This also was one of the very large purchases, or actually, at that particular time, a very surprising deal that had taken place. In fact, there was even an announcement within the Wall Street Journal that the negotiation was in the works before Microsoft actually published that they had acquired the company Skype outright. The major reason that this was such a controversial issue was because Skype was a company that dealt with your telecommunications with not only the phone, but then also the digital communication. Microsoft owns a portion of Facebook, and Facebook needs Skype to communicate with its users. And as everyone knows, Facebook has become a very popular source for media, and not just in the digital section, but also for, again, the video. They rely highly on Skype for their network to be able to communicate with all the users that they have in their company. So by purchasing this company, Microsoft was able to capitalize not on the investment that they have in Facebook, but also in having Skype as well. So now they've cornered the market in two different areas. They view this as one of the more competitive deals because not only were they shutting out the competition, some of the bidders that it had bid on or that were looking into acquiring the purchase of Skype would have been a company such as Google. So why Microsoft felt it was so important to compete and to lock out the companies such as Google is because they not only corner that market of Facebook, they corner it with Skype, and then they can use this also within not only their multimedia for your internet and telecommunications through your computer systems, but also with your cell phone and your phone systems as well. Now, another area that Microsoft has been affected has been in its lawsuits. Microsoft has had lawsuits both for and also against the company. One of the major lawsuits that have taken place within the last few years was the lawsuit that took place with the company of TiVo. Now, TiVo at the time was being sued by Microsoft because it was claiming that TiVo was using some of their patents illegally. Now, the reason why this was really done was because Microsoft was looking to protect its interest that it had with AT&T. And at that particular time, AT&T was just starting up the company as UVerse. As you know, UVerse and TiVo both compete in the video recording aspect. TiVo was being accused of stealing some of those patents from Microsoft software, which AT&T used for its software that linked up with UVerse. So again, as a protection for AT&T, Microsoft sued TiVo, who already held a lawsuit against AT&T. By doing this, it tied up both sides because TiVo was not able to use any of its software patents that were, again, with Microsoft, but also any of its equipment, which kind of put a hold and a freeze and standstill on any activities that TiVo could take care of. This lawsuit has went on for 2 years. However, the positive with this is that within the last couple of weeks, actually March 22nd, it was announced that both sides decided to drop their lawsuit. TiVo had started a lawsuit against Microsoft. Again, this was also done in the district court because they were also requesting that those patents be granted to the company, claiming that they were not infringing any of the pending lawsuits that it had against AT&T. So at this particular time, both parties agreed to dismiss the case, as it basically stated that it wasn't getting anywhere for both. It basically just froze up anything that could take place with TiVo and along those lines. TiVo eventually settled its case with AT&T, and then by dismissing this case with Microsoft, The only difference that's changed is there's still no patents that have been granted on either side. Now, one of the other things that have affected this company with this merge, or this protection against AT&T, was that it also, Microsoft wanted to make sure that it protected its investment that it had with Uverse, who has also continued to expand in the market as far as not only a technological change, but also changing as far as the digital media that we receive. Now, Microsoft has continued to compete again in both the public demand and also in the lawsuits that has taken place. And my conclusion with this is, and why I chose this information, is because these cases are not only more recent, these are companies that we've all become very familiar with as well. Skype has been a growing company that I personally had not known was a purchase of Microsoft. I just believed to still be its own entity. And then also the other interesting fact with that was that Microsoft also had an investment with Facebook, who also is linked up to Skype as well. The other reason why I chose this presentation is because the interesting fact with TiVo, which had also been such a popular thing within the last couple of years, and then to find out that the reason why it had been so quiet again was because it was facing these lawsuits that imposed and were infringed upon by Microsoft to counteract the lawsuit that was taking place by AT&T. In the process of all these things, AT&T and its Uverse has expanded, and then again it has frozen up TiVo from expansion as well. Now that these cases are dismissed on both sides, not only the case in the lawsuit that AT&T had against TiVo, but also the case that Microsoft had against TiVo, it's going to be interesting to find out if TiVo can now bring itself back from this time period that it had been frozen from its patents and make a difference in terms of the company. What I've learned also is that Microsoft is continuing to grow and they're continuing to expand. They are still a powerhouse in terms of the industry. They are competing with companies such as Nokia in terms of the digital. They're competing against Google in terms of their search and so forth and their links. And they continue to have investments with companies such as Microsoft Word, Facebook, and now again, as I said, the Skype Corporation. And it seems like once again they'll be finding another company shortly that they'll purchase just to keep the market and the monopoly and the hold that Microsoft currently wants to continue, not only to expand its operations, but again to bring you and I the goods and the services that they pride themselves on offering as a Microsoft corporation. If there's any questions, feel free to ask. At this time, I am done with my presentation, and I thank you very much for listening, and have a good evening. Thank you.